to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 336 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, how's it going?
Oh, man, it's going. I told you, I think I told you last week, I said, you're getting me the day before I get sick.
Yeah?
And I kid you not, I was down and out the next day. I still sound like crap, so we're just got to power through today.
I think you sound normal, so that tells you anything.
That's good. Well, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. And we're off.
We're off. It's been a week, James. It's been a week. It's been a day for me, so we'll power through this sucker.
Good. You're a little agitated. I'm a little agitated too.
Good.
So
Good.
Maybe I can bring it out of you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's supposedly you have a topic to get me going, so we'll see. But
I might.
I don't feel like it's a very agitating week, but there's some stuff that might trigger us. We'll see. We always find a way.
Yes. Oh yeah, we will. We'll find a way.
Speaking of agitating, I've got this freaking fly that's been flying around. How long do houseflies live? They're not only supposed to live for a couple days, aren't they?
Well, the weather's July right now, so
oh God,
it's been. I know. Yeah.
This thing will not go away. Drive me freaking crazy.
Well, if I hear a loud thwack at some point,
it'll be really loud because the
Yeah.
fly swatter's across the room, so I'll have to hit my hand on it, and my desk makes a lot of noise if I hit it. So you'll know.
Good. I hope so.
There will be no shock. It'll be about as subtle as Corey LaJoy on lap 1 of the Go Bowling at the Glen.
Oh, there it goes. That's where we're starting.
That's where we're starting.
He took the blame for it today. Did you see that?
Did he? No, I didn't. Well, I hope so.
He said he screwed up.
I mean, to be fair, Corey LaJoy was responsible for that accident, but there really wasn't any. I mean, it was a racing incident. He missed the curb, and where was he going to go? They were crammed in there. I mean, it's just.
And if you look at the end of the race, the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Martin Truex Jr. was, like it was just the way it was all race long. So
yeah, this is NASCAR now.
Yeah,
you took away the steel bodies, and now they're plastic, and they pop right back out, and they don't flatten tires, and so everybody drives like it's bowling.
Drive like absolute loons. Yes.
You name the race Go Bowling at the Glen, and you're asking for it, right?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, that's what it was. There was a lot of beating and banging and tore up race cars, and a whole weekend full of bowling pins.
Before we talk about the winner, I just want to reiterate, James, what I said a couple weeks ago. I think we were talking about Darlington, and just say that it doesn't matter what track we put in the playoffs. The playoffs just amp things up. And it's going to be good no matter what. I think this was probably the best. I mean, I know there was some stuff that happened, but probably the best, most exciting Watkins Glen race in a long time. And probably the best road course race on this car yet.
Yeah, it was, especially, obviously, we'll talk about the last lap, but, even with, I think we went into this race with the expectations of the tire wear.
Yeah.
And
you did. I remember what I said last week.
I know. Oh, I know. But NASCAR, they keep telling us about tire wear and that you got to temper your expectations. But, the race did have some strategy, and cautions kind of came out at the right time to kind of mix the field up. And you really did have, for lack of better terminology, you really did have comers and goers throughout the day.
Yeah. Just not as much because of the tires. More because of strategy.
And the penalties and just the wackiness of the race. I mean, playoff drivers all over the place having problems. And it was...
Well, when you have 16 playoff drivers out of a 36-car field, you're going to have playoff drivers get affected by stuff. It's half the field.
Yeah.
So...
And I wanted to ask you this, Eric. Mm-hmm. I think we've touched on this a handful of times before, but we really are in an era of... I feel like almost every race has a little bit of Talladega in it, where we've got a lot more random going on than we've ever had before. I mean, and if it's the way the guys are driving,
cars from Walmart.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's going on here.
Everybody's got equal equipment. The skill level is so close. The skill level's, I think, always been this close, but now the cars are make up for the gaps.
Yep.
And it brings that level of uncertainty, and sure, it's harder to pass, and it's harder to, take the car on your shoulders and win a race than it used to be. But it also creates this lottery every week of who is it going to be that comes out on the right end of things and who's going to suffer. And I think it's a matter of both the how equal the cars are, and the fact, again, like I said, that you can bounce off of each other and be fine. I mean, in most instances, maybe not if you touch tire to tire, as Ryan Blaney learned.
Right.
But for the most part, you can bounce off of people and there's no penalty to it. So it just creates, like I said, a lottery of right person at the right time. And that's why it's hard to predict these races. And I mean, I said this week, I was joking around with you guys that I decided for fantasy this week, because I missed picking last week. I'm out of it. It's like, I'm just going to load up with all the ringers.
Yeah.
And I started loading up with the ringers, and I realized that there's more than 5 or 6 ringers anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
It's yeah.
you can't just pick 4 guys on a road course that are going to be up front, because there's just so many of them that are good. And we saw a bunch of them struggle this weekend, and there were still top guys up front. So
and going kind of bringing this full circle. If I were to have had a time machine and went forward in time and grabbed a screenshot of the top 10 finishers of this race, flew back in time and handed it to you and said, Eric, what race was this? Look at this finishing order. What track is that? And you would have said, oh, that's Daytona or Talladega.
right.
I mean, immediately, that's what you would have said, because you have 2 playoff drivers in the top 10. That's it. You have 3 Spire cars in the top 10. Michael McDowell's in there. It's Ryan Preece, Austin Cindric. Like, again, I didn't have Ryan Preece down as a ringer. I mean, Austin Cindric, kind of. He's been good on these tracks before. But nobody had Zane Smith up there. Ross Chastain's had maybe 1 or 2 good showings on a road course before, but again, didn't have him winning this race. He was in the hunt. I mean, it's just wild. It was just, all day. It was like that all day. You never knew what was going to happen. I mean, I'm trying to set my fantasy lineup throughout the race. I'm like, I don't know what the heck to do. I had Tyler Reddick in and Kyle Larson out. I didn't know what to do. It was just nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really add much to it. It was something. Yeah. And it's like this week in and week out. We consistently see, the field mixed up. I mean, you got, first of all, if you would have told me on any track other than the super speedway that all 3 Spire cars would have been in the top 10.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
I mean, no way. I mean, again, they've been improving, but
well, even
never
Joy being in the top 10, you're like,
right.
You're like, yeah, well, that's a super speedway.
Yeah. Ironically, still the last of the Spire cars, but still.
Yeah. But no shame in a top 10 finish, and Carson Hocevar continues to impress.
Yeah.
Zane Smith looks like, why are you getting rid of that guy again?
Right.
He's pretty good. So hopefully somebody picks him up. But yeah, this was just a great race. And then icing on the cake, we got a last lap that maybe the second best Watkins Glen last lap of all time, just because the first one was so good. This was phenomenal racing by Chris Buescher and Shane Van Gisbergen.
This was really good. And James, I will once again stand on my soapbox and toot my horn and pat myself on the back and say, this is why when you guys all say, well, you put SVG in that car next year, that's 7 guaranteed shots at the playoffs. Nah, because all SVG had, he made one mistake.
Yep.
One mistake. He clipped a barrier on the last lap, and Buescher made him pay. And despite what Jeff Burton said, Buescher raced him really clean on that last lap as well. They did make contact, but that wasn't because Buescher was hitting it. Buescher was putting his car in a space, and SVG closed his space.
There's making contact and there's wrecking somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
That was just good contact.
That was a great last lap. And I was hoping, I was curious to see what Buescher would do. I didn't think Buescher would hit him. And I thought once they got to the inner loop and SVG had the lead going into the inner loop that it was over.
Yeah.
And when all of a sudden, when I watched it the first time, I didn't notice the mistake. All of a sudden, I just noticed that Buescher came out of nowhere. It's like, holy crap, did he just like throttle up and just get there? Yeah. But no, Van Gisbergen made a mistake and just clipped that barrier, knocked him offline just enough, and Buescher was able to gas it and get there. But Buescher was there to begin with.
Yeah.
And I mean, he led 19 laps in the race too. He wasn't a slouch in this thing. Of course, Ross Chastain led 51, but yeah, I mean, just great freaking battle at the end. And yeah, I think Chris Buescher, you know, we've given him some props in this podcast, especially last year. He is one of the most underrated drivers in NASCAR.
Oh yeah.
He is a lot better than his record shows. And does it clean, does it the right way.
Yeah, and, you know, because we had so many drivers win races this year, and think about him missing the playoffs. Yeah. Like, he missed the playoffs by the closest margin in Cup Series history.
Well, he missed the playoff because there were 2 flukes instead of 1.
Exactly. And
although I don't know that you can call Chase Briscoe a fluke because he's looking pretty damn good right now.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe's in good shape. He's in good shape. Looking good for my round 2, by the way, that I picked. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Although I'm in trouble with a couple of our guys. But yeah, this was, you know, Chris Buescher's just solid, just a good solid driver. Mm-hmm. He's got that next level talent that you're kind of looking for, and he's a great, you know, just a great talent for RFK to have like alongside Brad Keselowski.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, you know, myself included, you know, when Shane came over last year, it's like, who is this guy? What is he doing here? Oh my God, he won his first start. What is this? Is this a fluke? What is this? I think Shane Van Gisbergen has driven his car like in all of these races like a professional Cup driver should.
Oh yeah.
He never roughs anybody up. He races about as clean as you can ask for a Cup drive. What you would expect for a Cup driver to drive. He's like the epitome of what.
And he made the mistake because he was expecting to get roughed up.
Yeah, exactly. And he did try to chase Chris back down and gave it a good effort. Yeah. Just, you know, wasn't. And I think I know him well enough now to know he would not have dumped him. He would have gotten to him, but I don't think he would have dumped him.
I don't think so either. So I want to go back on something I said because I have poo-pooed Shane Van Gisbergen on here a few times about his ability, and I want to be really clear. I very much think that he is the most talented ringer, I'll put it in air quotes, that we've ever had in NASCAR. You know, Juan Pablo Montoya raced this weekend. Juan Pablo never did this when it took him a long time to get even where he was competitive enough on the road courses to get a win.
Yeah, this specific skill set that SVG has with this car, he really has.
We've had a lot of guys come in and not be able to do what he's doing. Yeah. I'm not. His ability is far beyond. And if Shane Van Gisbergen would have started the same time on oval racing as the rest of these guys had, he would be where they're at, if not well beyond where they're at. The guy is talented. Not only that, but I will go as far as saying is he has made way more progress on ovals this year than I expected he was going to also. Yeah. He's looked very impressive as the season's gone on in the Xfinity series and the ovals. The guy's got a lot of talent. The problem is there's so much talent in the Cup series that you don't guarantee wins anywhere.
Right.
So I don't think he's a guaranteed spot in the playoffs, but he's definitely got a shot every road course we go to, and maybe a couple more races throughout the season. We'll see.
Yeah,
but
yeah, he's going to be. Yeah, he'll
the guy's got some talent. He is a hell of a road course racer.
Yeah, he's got when it comes to like being a specialist. Like I feel like we have in NASCAR, we have a handful of specialists at different track types. So if you go to a road course, SVG is going to be up there.
Yeah.
You go to go to Daytona, like Ryan Blaney, he's going to be there. Denny Hamlin, he's going to be there. It's just he excels at this part of the sport better than most.
I said it if Shane started with doing ovals and road courses back when the rest of these guys did, he'd exceed them. We're going to talk in a little while about somebody who might just be on that trajectory.
Yeah. Yeah, and this race was the 100th race for the next gen car, and he's got one of those wins.
Yeah.
Like he's a there's a small percentage of guys who have won races.
Do you
since we've
think if Shane came into NASCAR, if everything was the same right now, as now, except we had the old car?
Yeah.
Do you think Shane could be as competitive as he has been?
No, I think this car gave him an opportunity.
But he's still really good in the Xfinity series.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So he's good with the other car too.
Yeah.
But to come out and win in your first race like that, probably not, right?
Yeah, he probably wouldn't have the win, but we'd notice him.
Yeah.
His talent's hard to deny. Like you notice that guy on the track.
There's been so much hype about guys that have come in and jumped into our sport on road courses, and never has anybody actually lived up to the expectations except for Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, Shane, I mean,
even Marcus Ambrose took a while to get there.
Yeah, AJ Allmendinger took a while.
Yeah.
But man, when AJ figured it out, he was pretty lethal. Montoya, when Montoya was at his best, that car, I mean, he made a deep playoff run.
Well, and he also was in a Ganassi car that maybe wasn't, I mean, I don't think it wasn't a top tier team back then.
Right.
Either.
Yeah, he didn't get the opportunity that Larson did when Larson eventually migrated over to Hendrick. That's
right.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100% on that. Trying to think of anybody else who really was like the best road course racers we had in our sport were guys who were in the car every single week.
Right.
I think of Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, Ernie Irvin, Tony Stewart, like those, Ricky Rudd.
Yeah.
Those guys were always
probably the
so
closest to somebody who came over here and did anything even close would maybe be somebody like Boris said. But even Boris, like, yeah, he was going to run toward the front, but you weren't looking at him to win.
Right. Ron Fellows was like that.
Yeah. Maybe in the Xfinity series, but certainly not in the Cup series, and certainly not that early.
Maybe can I throw Robbie Gordon on there? Robbie Gordon was...
I think Robbie Gordon's his own animal.
He...
Literally.
Yeah, he was he was he just got into trouble a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, he tussled with everybody.
Yeah.
Him and Tony Stewart really didn't like each other.
No.
Pretty adamant they didn't like each other.
Robbie Gordon, though, he ranks in the same, breath as someone like Ken Schrader, that you put four wheels on and he's going to race it. And I like a racer's guy like that.
He is a racer's racer. Yeah. He'd race anything.
Yeah. So we're both pretty happy with the contact between these guys. Good race at the end, fair racing. What about the rest of it, James? We had a caution with 11 to go or 12 to go or whatever.
Yeah.
And as soon as that happened, I think I tweeted, "Let the chaos begin."
Yeah.
And it lived up to those expectations. We had, it took a good hour to finish the last 10 laps of the race.
Yep. 2 days in a row, which.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where are we at with this? Where are we at with this, James? I'm so conflicted because on one hand, I love the chaos.
Yeah. And
I want to see a race end under green. And
this is the take that I thought might get you going.
So I typed a message to you guys on Sunday that was along the lines of, you know what? I've changed my mind. Let's get rid of overtime.
Son of a gun, you took my...
Because
dang it, I wanted to talk about that.
Are we freaking serious we're going to do this again? But on the same note, we got that finish. And I don't know, man. I don't think the problem is overtime. I don't think the problem is the green-white checker. I think the problem is the respect and the fact that there's no punishment for doing it. And I'm not saying that NASCAR should step in and penalize people, because I don't want to see that. But there needs to be a consequence for driving like a moron. And there isn't one.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to fix that other than, put metal bodies back on. I don't freaking know what to fix it. It's like, even they're talking on DVC about track limits again, and I hate that the way these tracks are now. You don't have to use the track. They put freaking rumble strips in turn one, and it did nothing.
Yeah.
They still ran out there, but you can't change it without making it unsafe.
If you want to put track limits in, you got to put a wall up. That's the only way you're going to stop guys
that's what they said.
there.
Nobody was going over the edge at Chicago.
Nope.
There was a wall there. But you can't put a 90-degree wall in turn 1 at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, you got to make it.
You have to have a runoff.
Yeah, you have to have some runoff there. Yeah.
And do we want a bunch of instances like Daniel Suarez sliding into the sand and having to get towed out and giving us a caution flag?
It still sucks too, doesn't it?
So I don't know what the solution is, but it's so frustrating.
I was gonna come on here tonight and say outlaw the overtime, and you went and you led me into it. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to upset you with it. These overtimes are getting worse, and either the overtimes need to go or something. I feel like something has to change. Whether it's the overtime or the racing conduct, something. We have to have something to stop these hour-long delays, because the Xfinity Series race on Saturday was absolutely horrible.
Here's the thing, though, James. You know NASCAR looks at the data, right?
Oh, they love this.
So if they look at the data and they show that people stick around through the half-hour red flag as they clean up the track for the big finish,
yep,
then there's nothing wrong, right?
Then they get to push their commercials out and get their sponsors out.
Right, so there's no problem. What's the problem?
Exactly. Yeah, they're fine. They don't care.
So maybe we just all need to quit bitching and just accept that this is NASCAR.
I did have one part of this, since we're talking about it. I wanted to ask you this.
Yeah.
Can we eliminate overtime at least in Xfinity and trucks? And here's my reasoning for that. These teams don't want to continue to wad up these cars, especially in the truck series. Can't we just be like, you know what? Overtime's for the big boys. Let's get out of here without too much carnage, because that last lap in the Xfinity Series race was absolutely ridiculous.
I have a question.
Okay.
How much money do you spend on race cars, car parts, that sort of thing?
How much do I?
Yeah, how much do you spend?
You're
Zero, right?
Are you going to lecture me for
zero?
For
you don't spend any money on it. So why do you care? Why do you care how expensive it is for the teams? Why do you care if the teams have to deal with torn up race cars?
Eric, why do we have a podcast?
They all have brake pedals. They can slow down. They don't need a pile in there. Maybe you know what we need? Here's the solution.
I was just posing the question to you.
What we need is some drivers to step up and beat the crap out of people who drive like morons. That's what we need.
We need an outlaw?
I don't know. There's got to be... I don't want NASCAR issuing penalties, because then now you're on a slippery slope and every race is going to end with multiple penalties.
And then we have an appeals process.
Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah. I don't... You can't go back to, okay, we'll just do one green-white checker. Because you think the first green-white checker is crazy now. Wait till we all know it's the last one.
Right.
You know? So now it's going to be even crazier. Now you're going to tear up a bunch of stuff. I don't know. It's happened a lot this year, and I get that that's made it seem like it's a bigger issue than it is, but I don't really...
We've already broken the record for green-white checkers for the year in the Cup Series. We have 8 races to go.
I know.
And we're going to have more. We're going to shatter the record. We're going to get to the point where we're going to have half of the season was green-white checkered finishes.
What's the biggest night at the county fair?
Well, yeah,
it's the Demolition Derby.
I know this.
What separates NASCAR from IndyCar, from Formula One, from all the other sports? It's the contact. It's the crashes.
Just by the way, F1 fans mad about that last lap contact in Baku? Woo!
What's one of your favorite movies of all time, James?
Oh, Take It to the High Side. Days of Thunder.
Yeah, right? This current racing makes Days of Thunder seem tame.
it might very well
This
be.
is what people want.
Yeah. All right, well,
I don't know.
We didn't solve anything.
No, we didn't. I was frustrated on Sunday just because we've done it so much. And I'm sitting here, so I'm watching the race, and I'm like, okay. I tell my wife, okay, race is almost over. There's 20 laps to go. When it's done, we'll do whatever. And then the caution comes out with 12 to go. And I'm like, crap. I am now going to be sitting here on my iPad for another hour while she stares at me and goes, well, I thought the race was almost over. What's going on?
I'm glad you brought that point, because here's my thinking, and I think about NASCAR in this sense quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things in my life that I love to do. NASCAR being one of them. Do I need 3 hours of NASCAR plus overtime?
So shorten the races. Hey, I'm back.
Shorten the season.
Shorten the races.
Yes.
James, you are a basketball fan.
Yes.
How long does the last 5 minutes of a basketball game last?
It's the worst. It's the worst.
How long does the last 2 minutes of a football game last?
Oh my God.
So
agonizingly
quit
long.
your bitching. This is normal.
Especially when your team is giving the game away to the other team, and then
Right?
you still have a chance. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I can't pick on you about this week because Bears didn't win.
Oh,
either,
you guys
so.
are in trouble. Yeah.
The Bears suck. I'm not
Lions
even
gave one away. You guys are in trouble.
I'm not even watching. It's not even. I didn't even waste my time on Sunday night. Forget that crap.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything you can do there. You got in the notes, first playoff race with no playoff drivers in the top 5. I believe that Seth Egert said this week that it was the first playoff race in the Cup Series that a playoff driver didn't finish in the top 2.
Yes, that is true. Yep.
Which is incredible. First of all, that has been the case, that this is the first time. But that's quite a stat for a road course race.
It's amazing.
Is that good or bad?
This was good. This was good for this race. It's not going to happen all the time. This was fine.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was cool. First lap, obviously, we get the Carnage. Let's talk about the Blaney issue.
Oh, my God.
Ryan Blaney very upset because his car's towed back to pit road, and they take it to the garage, and he wants to fix the car, or at least give the team an opportunity to fix the car. And, James, I don't know that I understand what the hell he's whining about. Because the rule, since they've gone to the DVP, has never been that you can fix your car, get towed back and fix your car. It's only for tires. And it's only been with the next-gen car because of the fact that when the tires go flat, the car scrapes on the ground and you can't drive it. And even that, I've argued, probably shouldn't be the case. But why in the world did him and his team think that he's going to get away with this? That they're just going to tow it back and let him fix it?
Did he think they could put tires on it and get it up to speed?
No, because he couldn't steer it.
Well, that's
it wouldn't steer.
The DVP is terrible.
The DVP is terrible. I hate the DVP. I've hated it since the beginning. The point of it was to keep cars from going back out on the track and dropping parts all over the place. But instead of that, you give them only 7 minutes or however long it is to fix the car, and then take a chance at that they fixed it good enough and send them out there in a dangerous car that's going to drop parts on the track, which still happens.
Yeah.
Bob Pockrass did tweet some stuff about the teams wanted this because they don't want the crew members under the cars with hot fluids for 2 hours trying to fix a car, blah, blah, blah. Junior talked about it today in his podcast. I think it was Junior, about how the teams used to bring crash carts and stuff to these races, and they're hauling extra stuff in the haulers so they can basically rebuild a car if they crash it. And now they don't have to haul that stuff. They were actually exceeding weight limits on some of these trucks trying to carry all the stuff they had to carry. But still, like,
I understand
I hate
his
this
gripe.
thing.
He didn't get to compete, and that sucks.
Yeah, no,
especially when you're in the playoffs.
I understand him being upset with it. I just don't understand the fact that he thought that somehow the rule didn't apply.
Well, and it sucks because he might as well not have shown up. So
Yeah.
I understand, like, he's mad.
Yeah,
I get it.
I think the DVP should go away.
I do too, but it doesn't help Ryan Blaney in this instance.
No.
Unfortunately.
And Junior mentioned on his podcast today that I still think the solution is, after 25th, 30th, you just get the same number of points. And then there's less incentive to go back out there with a damaged car. But the thing is the policy is so dumb because you get your car fixed enough to meet minimum speed, and then you can go to the garage and spend all day fixing it and go back out.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It's stupid.
It's dumb.
Yeah, no.
Get rid of it.
Yep.
Done. Okay, we fixed NASCAR. We fixed that
NASCAR
one.
again, yes.
Do you think Denny Hamlin regrets his Atlanta strategy yet?
Yes, although they seemed pretty thrilled with their finish, which I mean,
it was a lot better than what it was looking like it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, he did pick up about what, 14 more points than he probably should have.
Yeah, came out with 15 points. But
somehow got a stage point in stage 2.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
He's going to win next week, and it's going to be all this talk for nothing.
Winning 3 in a row at a track's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to do it anyway. He's going to move on. Especially, I mean, if anybody wants to adopt a dog, Denny's got the dog up because he's blaming the dog, or the crew chief's blaming the dog.
Man, if anybody deserves to miss the next round, the way he raced Atlanta, he should miss the next round, but he'll probably points. The problem he has is he's got to figure out how to get around some dudes in front of him.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Ty Gibbs is going to be that bad. I mean, he's only 6 points out, so Ty Gibbs and Chase Briscoe are going to be pretty decent. So Denny's going to have to outperform those guys all day, which he can. I don't think that's not reasonable. But he's sucked lately.
Daniel Suarez is 36 points to the good, but he's losing that horseshoe this week.
Yeah.
He's not going to continue to have the success that he's had going into Bristol.
Yeah.
So I think there's an opportunity there potentially.
Yeah, Denny's been really bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's got 3 30th or worse place finishes since Chicago. Yeah, he's just been not great. And he's got a lot of finishes worse than 30th this year. That's crazy. I'm just looking through his numbers just to see if I can. I don't know.
He's been on a spiral this season, that's for sure. Especially as it's gone on.
Runs
since he's got the dog, James.
Yeah, he got the dog. He's been worse. Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't seem like a championship team at this point. But
no, I think him making it to the next round is probably a waste of a spot. Man, would you have thought that round 1 would have taken out Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., and even Brad Keselowski?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Do you
I
think
had Denny Hamlin as my first person in when I did the NASCAR playoff bracket because I was like, oh, he'll race Atlanta.
Yeah,
he'll be right there, and then he'll be decent at Watkins. Nope.
Do you think anybody falls out?
The most vulnerable is probably Briscoe.
That's my thought. The thing is, though, is you have to remember it's Bristol.
Yeah.
And so I heard a comment. Brett Griffin made a comment today, and is a really good point of view from a spotter that Bristol Motor Speedway. Yeah, right.
Part-time.
Bristol Motor Speedway is the only track in the circuit that everything that happens on the track is only at most 14 seconds ahead of you.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, somebody spins at Daytona, you got 30 seconds before you get there in the right instance. But you got 14 seconds at Bristol, and you're guaranteed to be wherever that incident is.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're like Larson and Byron, you just got to be careful.
Look at Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney's had a killer car at this track and gotten taken out in weird wrecks multiple times.
Yep. Yeah, who would have thought Austin Cindric would be in the position he's in?
He's moving on, man. There's no way Cindric doesn't move on, right?
Alex Bowman. Yeah, Cindric's in. Cindric's fine.
He's not locked in, but he's in.
Yeah,
right?
Cindric's going to move on. Yeah, Cindric, Bowman, Bell, they're all going to go on. Suarez is where it gets a little iffy. Even that, though, I'm not really... I mean, it's not really that iffy.
Everybody... Man.
I'd love to see Chase Briscoe move on. He's in the most vulnerable spot because I think Ty Gibbs is going to be really good at Bristol.
Can you really say that everyone 10th up is pretty safe?
No, you can't. One problem.
I mean, 25 points or better, though, that's pretty big.
William Byron attempted to exit the track at Watkins Glen.
No kidding.
And that really hurt him. So, yeah, a lot of these guys are just going to have to try to survive. Somebody's going to fall. I mean, remember last year it was Joey Logano.
Yep. Yeah, something will happen, especially if we have the tire.
And it could be Tyler Reddick. It could be any of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be somebody weird.
You know who's really Martin's comfortable? Done. Joey Logano.
He's
the only one comfortable this weekend.
Yeah, I think Harrison and Martin are toast.
I don't think there's any way they're coming back.
I don't think those guys are.
Martin's got to win it.
Martin's locked. He's already retired.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think so too. I think he was retired before
last year.
Yeah, I think he was retired well before the playoffs.
I mean, he was so done post race interview.
Yeah.
I mean, taking unnecessary shots at Larson too. That was pretty good. I mean, that's cool.
You mentioned Byron trying to leap the guardrail.
putting his window or his tire in Brad Keselowski's window net.
Yeah. That's
Scary
crazy.
crash, man. That was a scary crash.
Yeah, we're talking 6 inches from a completely different story.
Yep.
Would have been pretty wild to see what happened. I don't know how strong that catch fence was right there.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah,
so,
that was scary.
Good to see it stay in the track, that's for sure.
Yep.
Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, pit issues, self-inflicted penalties.
A lot for Brad too. Like 3 of them.
Yeah, Brad
Larson, that was a stupid one.
Brad had multiple attempts to redeem his day and failed.
Yeah, every time.
Yep.
At least his car won.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, both involved in spins.
Yep.
That hurt my fantasy a bit.
Yeah, mine too.
But yeah, it was interesting. Didn't see the tire fall off we expected. Saw a little bit, but not enough to make people actually be able to come through the field. About the only one who really did, I think, was Buescher. I will say, James, that it's possible that Daniel Suarez caution unlocked a new strategy going forward at road courses. A new old strategy where instead of trying to flip stages or run the stages out, they realize that your best shot is to just do like we used to do and run the race backwards and pit when you need to at the end.
Yep. Yeah, because what happened, I think one of the things that stood out was Buescher's pit stop. He cut Ross Chastain in line.
Yep.
Because of the way the tire wear worked out, where he was able to, on fresher tires, to pit a little bit later out of sequence and then jumped when he finally was time for him to pit.
Yep.
He leapfrogged and got into the primo spot. Pretty much never gave it up until that last restart with Shane before getting it back.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Good race. We talked a little bit about some of the drivers up towards the front. Mike McDowell, too, had a really quiet top 10 finish, 7th place for Michael McDowell. Not surprising for him at a road course. Maybe even underperforming a little bit from what you expect of Michael McDowell, but he doesn't always. Watkins Glen's not his road course either.
Yeah.
He's more of a Sears Point and Roval type driver. Ryan Preece, top 10, 9th place finish for him. As you mentioned, Austin Cindric continues to impress. Noah Gragson, 11th place.
Good run. Yep.
All those guys ahead of Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott. Jesus.
Yep. Everybody hanging in there. Jeez.
Ryan Blaney dead last, 38th. Recce was 37th. He was involved in that first wreck as well. Transmission issues for AJ Allmendinger. Disappointing run for him. William Byron way back there. Juan Pablo gets 32nd.
He was in 8th at one point.
Yeah, that was strategy, though. Everybody's giving him all this credit. It was strategy.
He didn't race. He didn't race like the old Juan Pablo, but he hasn't been in a Cup car in 10 years. So
he's old.
I know he's old, but that's okay. He didn't wreck anybody. He definitely raced conservatively, which was good.
The fact that people thought he was going to jump into this car that he's never driven and perform really well, he did well enough back in the day when he was racing all the time, but he was racing all the time and wasn't that great. So
right.
I don't know where
everybody thinks SVG when they see these guys.
Yeah, like you can't compare. SVG is unique.
Yep.
Let's see. Carson Hocevar is highest finishing rookie, 3rd place. Christopher Bell's points leader by 3 points over Austin Cindric. Chris Buescher gets his 6th victory in 321 NASCAR Cup Series races. James, you and I met a Buescher way back at the first Eldora, I think it was, truck race.
Got his autograph.
And I think you and I both would have agreed at that time that Buescher showed a lot of promise and probably would be the future
James Buescher
Cup Series star. And his cousin Chris is doing it instead.
Yep. He's selling real estate, I believe.
Yeah.
That's what he does now. So, Truck Series champion, though.
Yeah. Got the Truck Series championship and then kind of fizzled out.
Yep.
So.
Happens from time to time, some of these guys.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. But I think one that we can be pretty confident in, James, that he has a bright future in NASCAR.
Oh, boy. Yep.
Connor Zilisch
Yeah, that was something.
equals Ty Gibbs, gets a win in his very first NASCAR Xfinity Series start on a road course, ironically enough.
Yep.
Tried to give it away by making a really dumbass error.
Well, it wasn't just him.
No, but he was the dumb one that followed the other two.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what any of them were thinking, but the fact that
I don't know.
he actually turned to take the inner loop and then goes, "Oh, let's just go straight."
I'm not going to put that one on him, though. He's the young buck on that crew.
Well, he made up for it and got the win.
It didn't matter.
Anyway.
He won the race.
45 laps led, dominates this race after dominating the ARCA race. I don't have the results from the ARCA race, but I heard he won by like 30 seconds or something.
He the field. Walloped him.
Kid's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, he made his statement. He's the real deal. We were hearing about it, and then he went out and proved it.
They kept trying to slow him down, and he just got faster.
Jeez, man.
He said on DBC this week that he wishes that he would have had onboard cameras so people could realize where he was lifting. Like he said he'd come out of the S's and just go off throttle and just ride the backstretch all the way down.
Oh my God.
TJ had him letting off at the flag stand on the front stretch.
Jeez. Golly, man.
And I'll tell you what, this kid, he's 18 years old, just turned 18, just old enough to run the big tracks. Michigan was his very first big track on the ARCA series. He won it, by the way.
He's won 5 out of 6. His average finish is 1.2 in the ARCA series.
He, when he talks, because he was on DBC this week, you'd never know he's 18 years old. The kid is smart. He's well-spoken. He's mature.
Yep.
James, I ask you, he's running the 88 full-time in the Xfinity Series next year for Junior Motorsports. I wouldn't say this too much about any 18-year-old, but is he wasting his time in the Xfinity Series?
No, he needs his time. He still needs to put time in.
Man, I'll tell you what, this kid is so impressive.
I know.
We haven't seen him on an oval in the Xfinity Series yet. We're going to see it at Kansas.
He needs to hone his craft yet. I know what you're saying though. Like it's nice to get that Cup experience in the Cup car, but
if he runs like this, he better not run more than a year in the Xfinity Series.
Well, I don't know who. Well, I know who he's going to replace, but
yeah, right.
Yeah,
got 1 year before he's gonna jump up 11 digits in the spectrum. Go from 88 to 99.
Maybe that one, yeah. unless somebody named Rick comes galvanized, comes flying in. I don't know if that's possible, but
I don't know. Trackhouse got him right now, so
yeah, Trackhouse.
He's also got some Red Bull money behind him now.
He's got some Red Bull money behind him. Yep. Yeah.
Everybody's pretty nervous about talking about that Red Bull in the old former Monster Energy Cup Series, but
yeah, that doesn't matter. We had a Red Bull team, for God's sakes.
Right.
It's all good.
Exactly. Yeah.
You want to know how much he won the Xfinity Series race by?
Sure.
12.7 seconds. He led 40 out of 41 laps. Started on the pole, almost went wire to wire.
Amazing.
Oh man, yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Is it worth talking about? We had Carnage at the end of this one too. We kind of already did it in the Cup Series, though. I mean, is there anything else to discuss here?
Yeah, we talked restarts already. I don't think we need to rehash it. It was pretty rough.
Yeah, I don't have anything else on this one. Sheldon Creed, another second place finish. He was actually excited about this one though. Yeah, it was a fun race. Like you said, got a little crazy at the end, but it was fun watching Connor do what he did.
Yeah, that was incredible. We'll remember this one. This one will. It's going to mean something someday because he's definitely, you talk about Ty Gibbs and a lot of these other young guys. Like he's coming. He's going to be coming.
Speaking of Ty Gibbs, when Carson Hocevar was running up front in the Cup Series race, I'm sitting here thinking, are you freaking kidding me? Carson Hocevar is now going to win his first race before Ty Gibbs wins his race?
Poor Ty Gibbs. You know what, though? When Ty Gibbs figures it out, that's the thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's like going to run some off.
Yeah, he's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
He really does, but it'll happen for him. It'll happen.
Let's see. Connor Zilisch wins his first victory in one NASCAR Xfinity Series start. Shane Van Gisbergen was your highest finishing rookie in fifth, which is funny because Connor Zilisch is a rookie too, but not technically. Justin Allgaier is your points leader in the Xfinity Series, 43 points over Cole Custer. as we head into the final round or final race in the regular season at Bristol for the Xfinity Series. And we'll lock things up there for their playoffs.
Connor Zilisch, the second youngest to ever win an Xfinity Series race, and as he tweeted out, "Damn it, Joey Logano."
I like Connor. He's a good kid, man. I'm gonna enjoy him right now because in about 3 years I'm gonna hate him.
Yeah, he's gonna storm through. Yeah.
Very impressive. Very impressive what he's done.
Yep.
Let's see. We got some news. James, you added a news item.
I did.
Go for it. Take it because I didn't even know this.
Bianchi bomb. Ty Norris is leaving Trackhouse.
Interesting.
And Jordan says he may be headed to Kaulig for next year. It says an amicable split. So Ty Norris has been around, God, Eric, how long? Forever.
Long time. That's a big pickup for Kaulig.
Yeah, it is. Kaulig needs to have somebody in place. So that's a good one for them. Kind of hurts for Trackhouse, I think.
I would think so. Yeah, that's going to be those are some shoes to fill.
Yeah, that's a management shakeup. You got to have good people up front. Like you see, Legacy. They're going into the well to upgrade their front office.
Yeah.
Ty Norris, who's got all of his experience and all of his connections, should help Kaulig quite a bit if that's the case. But yeah, leaving Trackhouse is I guess there's not much more to do there if you think of it that way. Like that team is pretty well established now.
Yeah, that's true.
So, they've got everything in place for the future. They've got the pipeline. So maybe that's what he's thinking. Maybe I can go do that for Kaulig. I don't know. Interesting though.
Yeah. Interesting. Speaking of Kaulig, we also are getting word that Daniel Hemric's not expected to return next year to Kaulig, and now Ty Dillon is on the short list of potential drivers to replace him.
How many times are we going to do the Ty Dillon thing?
Right? I thought the same thing.
Again, we're doing this again? Like, Carson Hocevar's performance in this season hasn't been enough to finally put that to bed.
Right.
We're going to bring him back another time. Man.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. I love Ty. Ty's a good guy. Great to talk to. But I don't know, man. Like you said, it's I feel like we just keep pulling him back out of the well, and I don't know.
I think it's just time for other guys to have opportunities with their career. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ty's been around. I mean, he's only 32. I guess I understand that, but still, it's been a long time since he's had a lot of success. So
yeah. I don't know. We talked about, you had in the notes with the Watkins Glen discussion, are we sick of hearing about the tire fall off forever? Let's talk about it a little bit more because NASCAR has confirmed they're bringing a softer tire to Martinsville for the second or the penultimate. I think everybody likes to say the penultimate round. The right side tire will be the option tire for North Wilkesboro and Richmond, and the left side tire will be even softer. What do we think? We like this? We gotta like this, right? Moving in the right direction.
I was listening to Jeff and Jordan on the teardown,
yeah,
and I am less convinced that Goodyear knows what the heck they're doing.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
Because nobody can figure out what happened at Bristol in the spring still. Nobody knows what happened.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Softer tires, that's what we want. We want tire fall off. But like Ty Gibbs said, kudos to him. He said there's nothing you can do until we put 900 horsepower in these cars again.
Yeah.
And I am with you there, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You said it, young fella.
Just try it.
We can't burn the rubber off these tires. There's just not, I know they're softer and they'll wear eventually, but not like what you do when you've got a ton of horsepower back there.
Not only that, but the problem is we're going to bring softer tires. And what are those tires going to do, James? They're going to create tire dust because that's what tires create anymore because we got rid of all the chemicals that used to lay tire rubber down on the track. So now we create dust. Now we create a dirty groove on the outside. And now you can't run side by side because if you go to the outside line, you lose control and hit the wall.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know what the solution is with the tires. I think there's more to it than just the tires. Again, I think Ty Gibbs is right. Put some freaking horsepower in these things.
It took Ty Gibbs to say it for us to be like, yep.
Hamlin
was screaming about it. We wanted to ignore him.
I've been on the horsepower train for a while.
I know everybody's on the horsepower train. We're all on the same team except for NASCAR.
Exactly. I just don't get it. I mean, I get it. I understand why, but where are those manufacturers that are coming? Because they aren't here yet. And we're catering for people that aren't here.
And we're holding on to charters for them too.
Yeah, right?
Apparently. Oops. I should have said that.
Yeah, now we're going to get called to the hauler. Any other news, James? I think it's been pretty quiet, but we'll take it.
No, I was checking the Twitter sphere and I don't see nothing, so that's it.
Checkered Flags. Any checkered flags for you this week?
Yeah, I got a good one. I was watching Dale Jr.'s highlights from his podcast, and he's wearing a Luka Doncic shirt from the NBA, and it was the most random thing I've ever seen. Like, why is Dale Jr. one wearing a basketball shirt, and two, why is it Luka Doncic?
He talked about it on the show, but I didn't get to that part of the show. He said he was going to talk about it later in the show. I have to go and
listen to it. Yeah. So anyway, I just saw that shirt. And I'm like, what is that? It caught my attention, but yeah. So I wanted to do that one, and then I sent you this already. You already know about this, but I tweeted at Jeff Gluck comparing him to Denny Hamlin because his good race poll pick was so terrible that he's going to lose. And he liked it, so he knows that I called him Denny Hamlin, so I'm sure that's going to bite me in the butt at some point.
Good stuff. Remember that next time you decide to come to the track.
I know. Gosh dang it.
I've got a couple. We'll do a couple non-NASCAR ones. I'm going to go IndyCar with these. Alex Palou, 2024 NTT IndyCar Series champion, wins a championship at Nashville after Will Power's lap belt came off and had to pit and was 5 laps down, and that pretty much eliminated him from any chance at stealing the title away. He wasn't going to win it anyway, but that definitely sealed the deal. And Marco Andretti had a baby. So there you go.
He did?
Well, he didn't. So, but there you go. So it was on his Instagram earlier today. It popped up in my feed, so I figured I'd give a little shout out for Marco Andretti. We got to hang out with Marco a little bit at the SRX race out at Berlin last year. So we were in the same facility as him. We didn't really hang out.
I got to stand next to Marco for quite a while watching practice. I was trying to see if he had any insights, but none to be had. He was just He was locked in.
You didn't take any candid photos of him like you did Kyle Larson at
I think I did maybe take a couple of them. I'll have to look. Yeah.
Kyle Larson shoving pizza in his face.
Yeah. I had a note from the IndyCar race. I was watching. I don't know whose tire fell off. It was rolling down the track, but it rolled like a mile by itself. And the only thing I could think of is that tire was rolling right on the yellow line at Nashville. Was all of the weeds that were still on the track. And I'm like, can somebody just go take care of those?
That's funny.
I'm like, I don't know why I care. But it just seemed like, why are there weeds on a racetrack? Anyway.
It was nice to see the IndyCar Series finish on an oval for the championship. I know it wasn't planned, but it was cool to see. Glad it was a safe race. You're always nervous on ovals. They've raced at Nashville before, but it's been a while. So it was. I didn't watch the race. It was late Sunday. I watched the highlights, but the highlights were good. So good for them. I want to see IndyCar continue to grow. It's coming back. I don't think it'll ever get where it was, but certainly better field sizes, more competition. It's getting better. So
yeah, absolutely.
How about black flags, James? Any black flags for you this week?
Well, I think I might have just gave it away. It was the weeds at Nashville. That was the one I was going to use.
There you go.
I stepped on my own black flags.
There you go. I don't really have one, so I'll just give it to every single person that wrecked in the last 10 laps in both races, Saturday and Sunday.
You know, there's a checkered flag we forgot.
Oh, what
we should have mentioned. We and you're gonna agree with me 100% when I say this. Lee Diffie did it again.
Oh my God, he's so good. Not just Lee Diffie, James. NBC, period.
Oh, NBC's doing a great job. The cameras were great. Yeah.
Honestly,
doing a great job.
The weak link of the broadcast this weekend was Mike Bagley, and that's saying something because Mike Bagley's great.
Yeah.
But
no, NBC's
he was not as good as the rest of them. Everybody was excellent.
Yep. Yeah. I was listening to MRN for a little bit while I was outside and MRN was, MRN crushes it always, but NBC just, top notch. Lee Diffie.
I really like that NBC's using Dillon Welch on the road courses. He does a really good job. I like that. And that camera they had, the cable cam on the backstretch was so good.
Yep.
And it wasn't like, so Fox does those cameras, and Fox, it's like, they're just doing it for the art, which is great. It's cool. It gets them awards, but it doesn't benefit you as a race fan.
Yeah.
NBC does it to benefit you.
That
to
last
give you
lap
a better
was more
shot.
epic because of the camera angle and
Yeah.
Lee Diffie.
Yeah, so great. The only thing I do wish NBC had a drone. I do miss the Fox drone.
Yeah. Yeah.
The drones have finally gotten good enough to where they're worth having.
Yeah.
Except in freaking Supercross, man. I can't. I'm so sick of them in Supercross.
Why does he keep them away from the racing surface? God, you remember when we had the cable at Charlotte?
Oh God.
Oh my God, we've come a long way since that mistake.
Did we? Did we? Because do you remember last week we picked a sign up off the track that changed the outcome of the race? So
I should say camera angles have at least gotten better.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, good call.
I guess I have another black flag is coming up here in short track corner. So.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So short track corner, we'll rush through this real quick. There's quite a few things in here. Billy Van Meter won the Lowe's Travel Centers 150 at Owasso Speedway last Wednesday, the UARA Super Late Model Series. Casey Roderick won the Glass City 200 at Toledo Speedway, the ASA Series race on Saturday night. During that race, or after that race, Matt Tift and Brian Glaze, a member of Van Meter's team, got into an altercation. Matt Tift was knocked down on the ground and kicked in the face repeatedly by Brian Glaze. It's wonderful. The video's out there if you want to check it out. Some fines handed down on this. Tift was fined $250, 25 points, and placed on probation for basically going over to confront the driver. Glaze has been suspended indefinitely, which is the right decision, and he's my black flag this week. Van Meter's team was fined $2,000 and 25 points, and also has been placed on probation through the end of the season. You can't kick somebody when they're down. I get that Tift went over. Apparently, Tift may have thrown a punch or at least shoved. So crew member is defending his driver, but we've said a million times, let the drivers do their thing, crews stay out of it.
Yep.
And this is why. So
it's okay to put your hands on somebody if you're both out of the race car and you can settle it. You can settle it. Settle it in a few seconds, scrap it out, and be done. But to be held down and kicked in the face,
honestly,
there's no reason for that.
These guys have all made freaking mistakes. Most people aren't wrecking people on purpose. The fighting is just stupid to begin with.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even happen at all. We enjoy watching it, of course, but it shouldn't happen. And this is what happens when it happens in the Cup Series. It looks okay to do it at the lower levels too. So,
yep.
Good on ASA for throwing down some fines, and
oh yeah,
Glaze gets a vacation. So,
yeah. Well, and he's looking at maybe some charges too. I haven't seen the update on that, but
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, Matt's considering it, which he should.
Yeah,
that guy should not come to a racetrack anymore.
Speaking of Matt Weaver, man, freaking amazing. That guy does everything.
He's all over the place.
I love Matt. He's such a hard worker. Freaking lives out of his car pretty much all summer long, driving all over the country. He doesn't fly. He drives everywhere, and he's everywhere. Like, there can be a short track race on Saturday in freaking one side of the country and a Cup Series race on Sunday, and he's making the trip back and forth between the two to cover them both. He's incredible. So
he had that pickup truck he drove forever.
Yep.
I remember he finally had to give it up and upgrade, but yeah, dude, he puts the miles on.
Yeah, he's a hard worker. I envy him for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking more short track corner, the Jeg CRA All-Star Tour is racing the Owasso National Sunday at Owasso Speedway. Racing starts at 2 p.m. I'll be out there to shoot that. The Reveal the Hammer Late Model Tour is also racing on Saturday at Owasso, part of the Owasso Nationals as well. Racing starts Saturday at 4:50 p.m. I did say Sunday for Jeg CRA, right? Yes, Sunday.
I think so. Yeah.
And then Owasso's also running practice and heats on Friday as well, racing at 7 p.m. So lots of action at Owasso Speedway this weekend for the Owasso Nationals to wrap up their season out there. If you haven't been out to Owasso, go check the place out. It's a cool place. They aren't paying me to say it, but it is the track right now in Michigan to check out if you're not going to Berlin or Kalamazoo. So
yep.
It's right up there ranking with those, and I think soon to surpass. So
yeah, and our guy Eric Jones was out there this week.
Yeah, he didn't have a good day. He got wrecked.
Not a good day.
But yeah, good deal. Good stuff out there at Owasso Speedway. With that, James, we're going to Bristol Motor Speedway this weekend.
Heck yeah.
Good times at Bristol. Wrap up round one of the playoffs. lock some drivers into the round of 12. The Bass Pro Shops night race is Saturday at 7:30 p.m. The Xfinity Series has the Food City 200. Is it the Food City 200 or 300?
I think it's the 200. Isn't
Really?
It?
I think it's the 300. I think it's 300.
It might be the 300.
I think you're wrong. 7:30 p.m. on Friday. Dale Jr. potentially making his last NASCAR Xfinity Series start. The Craftsman Truck Series race is Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, the UNOH 200. Tires. What are we going to see at Bristol for the night race? We're going to see tire issues?
No idea. I hope we see some.
I hope we do too. I hope it's a repeat of the spring.
It is the Food City 300. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I knew. You didn't have to tell me that.
Hey, I got the times right and the date.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I mean, Jayski doesn't even have the right date on the home screen for the night race. It says 7:3 p.m.
You don't have the channels though, because NASCAR Xfinity Series is on CW starting this week. There you go. Failed, man. Failed.
Me and the CW are gonna have a long, torturous relationship.
I confirmed it's on YouTube TV, so I'm good to go.
All right, you're good.
Yep. Yeah, it should be fun. Bristol's always fun. Like I said, Dale Jr. last start. So I wanted to bring this up, James, because DBC talked about it this week, and I thought it was a good conversation. I gave you a little bit of time to prepare. Drivers are going to come out to driver intros to songs of their choosing this weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway. If you were a driver in the NASCAR Cup Series, what would your walk-up song be?
I had a hard time thinking about what I would do.
You're putting way more thought into this than I did.
I know.
Just for the record.
Because
I'm gonna give you mine, and you're gonna be pissed.
Well, I didn't know if I should go historically me, or what I love listening to right now. But my favorite song that's stuck in my head recently is Riley Green's "Damn Good Day to Leave." Okay. I just think that's got I just think it's a great country song. Or like Luke Combs, anything Luke Combs has been he's been killing it lately. Or for me, anything Eric Church, classic Eric Church is probably for me. But I would say I'd say Riley Green for now. Riley Green for now.
Okay.
Would be my pick.
So I'm going for the laugh. I want everybody to hear it and just lose it. And I'm going with Aqua, Barbie Girl. That would be my walk-up song. If I was going to be serious, probably what's the Jelly Roll song?
He's got
I only talk to God when I need a prayer. Need a prayer, I think is the name of the song. I would go with that one. That's a good song.
Yeah. So the official song, I wanted to make sure I got this one right. It's Riley Green and Luke Combs, Different Round Here. I love that song. Anything Riley Green right now, he's my favorite right now. But
there you go.
That's what I would pick for right now.
I thought about it when I listened to that on the episode on the way into work this morning. I'm thinking about what would be a good song for me, and I'm man, I would have to go. Barbie Girl would be so damn funny. Everybody would laugh.
Anything from Jock Jams would be funny for me. I used to love that stuff. Or the Space Jam soundtrack. I was listening to that. The
Jock Jams 2, I think, was the best one.
2 and 3. I had 3.
Okay.
Jock Jams 3.
I can't remember which one it was.
I loved those. I loved those soundtracks when I was a kid. I was trying to get my kids to listen to Space Jam, and they thought I was nuts. I'm like, no, this was the best music.
No, you're right. 3 was the one. Jock Jams 3 was the good one.
Yeah, Jock Jams 3. I had that one. I think I still have that one somewhere. I'm looking at my shelf. I don't think
Dick
I have
Vitale starting it off with "It's Awesome, Baby."
Oh yeah.
The Mega Mix was good.
How did we get here?
Cotton Eye Joe. Oh, this was such a good album.
Do you remember when Brad Keselowski came out for his introduction? It was rookie Brad. And
Kyle Busch is an ass.
Kyle Busch is an ass.
Brad got so many fans when he did that.
Oh man, what a time we lived in.
Yep.
Young Brad before he was politically correct.
Yep. That was good. Good stuff.
Oh man.
And that was, Bristol was Kyle country, not fan wise, but he won there.
He
all
owned
the time.
that place. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that was good stuff.
Kyle Busch is an ass.
That was Good feud.
What a great line.
Good feud right there.
Yeah, Brad doesn't have that. He doesn't have that anymore.
No.
He's lost that.
No, you won't ever see him feud with somebody like that now.
And Kyle doesn't really have it anymore either, to be honest with you.
No.
for different reasons, but
Kyle will still make his snide remarks though.
yes. Oh yeah.
I mean,
he'll still be, Kyle will still be petty.
He did make the comment still at Michigan, how many weeks after the All-Star race that's why Ricky got punched in the face. So, I mean,
I suck just as bad as you. When Kyle retires, I just hope we have all the quotes. He's had so many good ones.
See, that's why I started to like Kyle, because the things he says,
They're so ridiculous.
I know 9 times out of 10, he gets done with that interview and about an hour later, he's going, why the hell did I say that? That was so stupid. But he just can't help himself. And I so sympathize with that, because that's how I would be. I would get out of the car and I would make some smart ass comment that then gets stuck in the media for an entire week when it was just something stupid I said off the top of my head that I regret.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Oh man. And he's just such a petty. He's got he's like a petty little child sometimes.
He is.
Yeah.
Everybody who says he's whiny, they're right. He is whiny, but
he's a little brother. Little brothers. I have 2 of them. Let me tell you. He acts.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, totally.
Little brothers.
I honestly miss the snot nose, little brat.
Oh, Kyle. I miss that Kyle Busch. Oh yeah,
good stuff.
We were better off when we had that guy.
Yeah. With that, James, we get to make our picks for Bristol. You're up first. Who are you picking for your winner, Bristol Motor Speedway?
This is tough. I'm worried about him making it to the next round, but I think he's going to come on and have a great race. I'm going to say Brad Keselowski.
Brad Keselowski.
I think he's going to make it and he's going to advance.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not picking Denny.
I'd stay away from Denny.
This is going to seem like a cop-out, but I'm going with Brad's teammate, Chris Buescher, to get 2 in a row.
Just as good. He's got a win recently, too.
Yep. So
I was looking at the last 2 races because the last 2 races seem to have been more similar than the others. Man, Ty Gibbs has led a lot of laps.
Yep. You got to look at Ryan Blaney too. Ryan Blaney's always good here.
Yeah.
Bubba's been good here historically, but he's not in the playoffs. I don't think we're gonna see much from Bubba.
Whenever we go to a short track, I'm gonna just say the name Josh Berry.
Yeah.
Because he should be mentioned every short track we go to.
Yeah. He's led 25 laps here.
He's a problem. He's always good.
Yeah.
Always good at short
Michael
tracks.
McDowell's got a good average finish here.
William Byron might be in trouble. I'm just looking at his previous performances here, but I think he got in an accident.
He's got 2 top 5s in the last 5 races here.
Man, Tyler Reddick's worse here. I'm just looking at the last few races here. Logano's not very good.
In the last 5 races here, Cody Ware has a better average finish than William Byron. Oh, he's only run one race, though.
Yeah, I think William had a crash. Yeah. Kyle Busch is worse than William Byron, Tyler Reddick, Joey Logano, and Harrison Burton. All playoff drivers.
Last 5 races, 17.6 is the average finish for William Byron.
That's not great.
17.2 for Tyler Reddick.
He's got to not be loving that.
Martin Truex Jr. 17.6. Kyle Busch in the last 5, 20.4. Joey Logano, 21.
Sheesh.
Joey Logano is the worst of the playoff drivers in the last 5 races.
Yeah, Burton's in. Burton's in there.
Daniel Suarez, 21.2. Yeah, you're right. Harrison Burton's back there, too.
Yeah. I don't count Harrison Burton as a playoff driver. I'm sorry.
You're right. 25.3 for Harrison Burton, so he's the worst of the playoff drivers.
Oh, Austin Cindric's in there in that mix, too, I think. But he doesn't. I don't think Austin Cindric cares.
Oh yeah, you're right. Austin Cindric's the worst. 27.7. Yeah, I don't think he cares.
He's gonna be fine.
I think he finishes 27th. He's fine.
Yeah, that's all he's got to do. What does Denny Hamlin say? Score 20 points.
Yeah, well, Denny hasn't even done that. So
Denny has it figured out until he doesn't.
Kyle Larson, best average finish last 5 races, 3.3.
Yeah, he's been. Yeah.
1 win. 4 top 5s.
Yeah, he'll be good.
Denny's got 2 wins, 2 top 5s, 4 top 10s. Chris Buescher's 3rd. So, yeah, interesting. Chase Elliott's up there.
Yeah. It'll be a good race.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this one.
I
always love this race.
Yeah, I love it. It's a Saturday night race, too. That's cool. I'm free Saturday night, so I get to watch it, in theory.
I'll be camping.
Don't let my wife hear. She'll make plans.
Yeah.
How'd Fantasy League go this week, James?
Oh, the fantasy league. I called my shot and said I'd win, and then I lost to Byron.
But you gained
Barron
points.
Speedway.
You gained points.
I did. Barron Speedway won. I tied for second with Smoking Grill. Tandem Draftona was fourth. Overall, I am 99
You
points
skipped
behind.
me, dude. I finished fifth, tied for fifth.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I don't want to mention. Sometimes when I do mention you get mad at me. So you
Fifth,
tied
man.
with Todd.
Yes, I tied
You
with
and
Todd.
Todd. Yep.
Yep.
By 1 point, you guys finished fifth. But I am 99 points out of first now. Caught up to Green Eggs and Hamlin a little bit. Team Justin is third. So we're the only ones over 5,000 points. Barron Speedway is fourth. He's got 49-44.
It was nice. Who did you have in your lineup? Because it was nice to see everybody looks like picked the same drivers I picked because everybody was low.
It sucked. I had Shane, I had Alex Bowman, I had Ross, I had Chase Elliott, and then I had Larson in. I benched Reddick, which saved me some points.
Yeah, I benched Reddick. He was the one I benched too.
Yeah.
But
I had Larson on the bench in the race, hoping I wouldn't have to use him, but I thought, man, I got to have a couple Hemric guys in here, and the Hemric guys didn't actually have that great of a day.
See, I had Bell. I had Byron, I think. I did have Van Gisbergen. Didn't you say you...
Everybody had SVG.
You pulled like. Buescher at the last minute? Is that what you said?
I did. I had Buescher in for, I believe it was Chase. I brought Chase in because I went with the Hemric guys over anybody else, and I kept Ross in there. Especially I had him in, then he got the pole, and I said, well, I'm keeping Ross, which he had a really good day for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna get interesting. Hopefully, if I can keep chipping away.
So Ross was your one that got you way above me, I think. Then.
Yeah, because I got the stage points with Ross.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's where I lost. I didn't have Ross.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, there you go. James, where can people find you on social media if they want to hit you up during the week?
At James Cush on Twitter. You
can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on there and also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Wherever you find us today, please subscribe and continue to listen for new episodes each and every week. If you go to anchor.fm/thesuperspeedway, you can leave us an audio message and we might just play it on the show. Bristol Motor Speedway returns this weekend. It is the night race weekend. Lots of fun, lots of action. We'll be back next week to discuss it, break it all down, and preview the round of 12. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.